Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence Gardino. The week begins on Monday, January the 10th, and this is a very important week because communication Mercury is going retrograde on the 14th. Mercury goes retrograde usually 3 times a year for about 3 weeks. Mercury has so much to do with your expectations, your plans, communications with others. And when it goes retrograde, it is a time of readjusting, recalculating, misunderstandings. I'm sure you've heard much of the mantra of Mercury in retrograde. But let's start with Monday on January the 10th. The moon is in Taurus with the sun in Capricorn. They're both earth signs. Earth keeps us grounded, practical, stabilized. And the sun will also be in harmony with idealistic and visionary Neptune. Sun-Neptune day can give a day of empathy, charity, compassion. On another level, it can be highly creative, really stimulating the imagination. And the moon in steady, calming Taurus will also be in harmony with expansive Jupiter around noon Pacific time, and the effects lasting for at least 2 hours. Moon to Jupiter, really favorable for making long-range plans, for attending school, education, traveling, because Jupiter is the educational planet, the traveling planet. So whether it's opening up your mind or your physical body to get out into and search the world. It also brings a lot of emotional moon optimism Jupiter. But on Tuesday, things start to change because assertive Mars, ambitious, goal-oriented Mars, will be in conflict with nebulous Neptune. When Mars is hit by Neptune, it gets out of focus. Your energy is drained. It can be a discouraging day. It could, whatever you're trying to strive for may also be get out of focus. Now, part of that might even be Mercury slowing down before it stops on Thursday, the 13th. And then on Friday, the 14th, now it's turning retrograde. The retrograde, a time of reviewing all your previous expectations and plans. But on Tuesday, just 2 days before Mercury comes to a standstill, it's an optical illusion, but the Mercury is getting very slow and sluggish. And with Mars in a difficult angle to Neptune, a lot of people just might be feeling tired, don't have the drive, the enthusiasm. Got to also be careful of whatever you're trying to go for. You could even feel like the rug is being pulled out from underneath you from other people. Now, Wednesday, however, the moon continues in Taurus, but it's going to be very favorable with profound Pluto by noon, around noon Pacific time. And then also from 11:38 a.m. Pacific time, the moon is going void of course until 7:08 p.m. Pacific time. So, when the moon is void of course, I usually mention this every week, the moon is not making any aspects to other planets until it changes signs. So there's no activity. The energy is flat. It's good for staying the course, keeping to the routine, It's not advised for making major new decisions, launching new projects. But at 7:08 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, the moon goes into Gemini. And Gemini is this very adaptable, quick-witted, running errands, a lot of mental stimulations, lots of brainstorming ideas and conversations. That's the general theme of when the moon goes into Gemini for 2.5 days. And on Thursday, with that moon in intelligent Gemini, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, intelligent Mercury. But the moon will be in harmony with Mercury, and Mercury will be what we call stationary. So it's really intense and strong. But the Mercury's in harmony with the moon. So this is really favorable for discussing your feelings, expressing your feelings. It can also be great for writing. And later in the day, the moon will be in harmony with Saturn. So even though Mercury is stationary and could be bringing a lot of worrying, because Mercury is all those expectations, it's in harmony with Mercury and Saturn. So this is probably for most people not a time of a lot of fear and frustration. Could be more of a time of introspection, reflection, and feeling good about where you've been. So on Friday, as the moon goes retrograde, remember Venus is also retrograde back from December the 19th through January the 29th. Venus in retrograde tests relationships. Mercury in retrograde, we can be prone to misunderstandings. So you have to be really careful, especially this weekend of the 14th to 15th, because the energy is shifting and it's really intense. So we're very much more prone to misunderstandings. And the moon is going to be in a difficult conflict with nebulous Neptune in mid-afternoon Pacific Standard Time. So this Friday afternoon Pacific Time is just ripe with misunderstandings, jumping to conclusions. It is best to just detach, rest, plus the fact the moon will go void, of course, again at 6:22 p.m. Pacific time into Saturday morning. Saturday, 8:11 a.m. Pacific time, when it then goes into Cancer. So Thursday can be overall favorable for this reflecting and introspection. Friday, there might be more disturbed, second guessing, bringing a lot of anxiety and nervousness, especially with relationships. But on Saturday, as the moon goes into Cancer, emotional, nurturing Cancer at 8:11 a.m. Pacific time for those next 2.5 days, the moon will be in harmony with expansive, optimistic Jupiter by mid-afternoon Pacific time. So with the Jupiter, and it's a Saturday, great for traveling, especially with Mercury in retrograde. You know, there could be delays. Your flight could be canceled. So there could be a lot with that Mercury retrograde, and it's still really intense because it just started going retrograde on Friday. There could be a lot of having to reschedule. But the moon Jupiter brings the luck. Now, that's also good for studying, publishing. That's all those other positive qualities of Jupiter. And even though Mercury will be retrograde, that Jupiter will help you protect you with any rescheduling. And on Sunday, the Sun is aligning with Pluto, as it does once a year. The Sun's putting a spotlight on Pluto. Big change. Now, that could be Pluto rules psychology, and which is all part of that transformation. So it could be a day of seeking counseling, giving advice, doing a lot of soul searching, a day of deep introspection and profound thinking. But it's also on a more mundane level. It's a really favorable day to clean out the closets and get rid of old clothes you're not wearing. Clean out that garage, because Pluto is about letting go. Before I sign off, I want to remind you I'm available for a one-question offer for a nominal fee. To request it, go to the homepage, astrologyanswers.com. Look for the tab labeled Advisors. Click on it, scroll down until you find my name, and follow the instructions. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.